Gears, welcome to the Onyx Academy, where I will be covering the subject of perks in today's video. All perks and their effects will be covered, giving you all the information you need on these. With Gears 5 having 19 different classes, each class has 4 fixed perks attached to them, but do you know how many unique perks there are in total? I'll give you a moment to think about this one. Ready? There are only 23 unique perks in Gears 5, just slightly more than classes, but that topic is for a future video. Each perk is unique, ranging from damage to utility, with each class having a good mix of 4. Usually there is at least one damage, survivability, and utility perk, but here's some general information that is relevant to every single perk first. Each perk starts off at level 0, giving the player no bonus, and can go up to a maximum level of 10. The bonus from each perk varies from perk to perk, and sometimes depends on the level of your perk as well. What doesn't change is the cost. All perks will cost exactly 24,250 energy to level up to rank 10, starting with a cost of 1,000 energy, and increasing with each level, with a level 10 perk costing 3,250 energy. Here is a visual curve that represents the cost compared to level, and you can see how quickly this adds up. This means that each class would need to spend 97,000 energy to max out all 4 perks, which is equivalent to 5 level 4 weapon lockers and 3 basic barriers. Not cheap at all. Not all perks are equal, with some perks, mainly the damage ones, granting a 5% damage bonus at every rank, though there are others, such as movement speed, where rank 1 grants a 10% bonus, but rank 10 only grants a 1% bonus. This technically makes the rank 10 bonus 32.5 times more expensive than the same effect at level 1. Enough of the numbers though, I will now go through each and every perk and tell you what their effects are, and why don't we go ahead and group these up as well into damage, survivability, and utility perks. Starting with the damage perks, there are 6 perks in this section, each one offering a damage boost in some kind of manner. Let's start with the first perk, simply called damage. Increases all damage outputs by the player by up to 50%. Classes that have this perk will deal increased ballistic, melee, bleeding, burning, explosive, and grenade damage. Assault rifle damage. More specific to a range of weapons, but once again will increase any ballistic damage dealt by up to 50%. The weapons boosted by this are the Lancer, Retro Lancer, Lancer GL, Enforcer, Claw, and Hammerburst. Damage from the alternate fire grenades of the Lancer GL are not affected by this perk. Precision rifle damage. Similar to the previous perk, increasing ballistic damage by up to 50% with any long-range precision rifles you use. Only 3 weapons are boosted this time around: the long shot, M-bar, and Markser. Shotgun damage. The final weapon-specific perk to buff a weapon class, still offering up to 50% additional damage while up close and personal. The Infiltrator will gain a damage boost with their Nasher and Overkill only. Critical damage. Boosting damage in another manner with this perk, granting all critical hits up to 50% additional damage. Due to the way the damage calculation works in Gears 5, which I covered in an earlier episode, this perk actually offers the lowest damage increase of all the damage perks. Overall, your damage will only increase by 25%, and that's if you hit all your critical hits. Melee bleed damage. All melee hits from the Blade Master will cause up to 150% additional bleeding damage per second for 5 seconds. This perk actually adds up to 750% additional damage in total, but because it takes time to apply, it doesn't appear to be all that powerful at first. Easily one of the strongest damage bonuses in Gears 5, granting an additional 5,625 damage on a standard melee, and 18,750 additional damage with a breaker mace at max rank, and both can be enhanced even further. Next are the survivability perks, with there being just 3 within this section. Each perk here is intended to make you more difficult to kill, but they all do this to varying degrees, so let's start out with damage resistance. granting up to 30% damage resistance against all types of damage dealt to the player. This damage resistance will also affect a stim shield, having it last even longer, and will also stack on top of any other damage resistance you may have from other sources. This makes this the most effective survivability perk available. Health regeneration. Grants increased health regeneration on the classes that have this perk. Ordinarily, health takes 3 seconds to begin regenerating, with this perk cutting that to half at max rank, and regenerates more health per second as you level up the perk, though I wouldn't describe it as a 100% boost. Health. Up to 50% maximum health can be obtained from this perk. Nothing fancy going on here, just more health that may help you survive an extra hit. Finally, we have the utility perks, with this section containing the remaining 14 perks, though I will still group some together due to what they do. Let's start with some perks that affect ultimate abilities, with the first being ability duration. This will increase the length of time an ultimate ability will last for, all the way up to 100%, doubling its standard duration. Reflective Shell has the shortest duration of all ultimate abilities, but this can make the gunner completely immune for 12 seconds. Cooldown on kill. Killing any enemy will instantly reduce the cooldown on your ultimate ability by up to 15 seconds per kill. Since this is only found on the tactician, explosives will be ideal to quickly bring back your resupply. Feedback boost. This perk doesn't really explain what it is supposed to do. All classes will knock 30 seconds off their ultimate ability's cooldown when they deal 10,000 damage. This perk increases the amount of cooldown you receive for the same amount of damage by up to 50%, meaning 10,000 damage will now grant 45 seconds of ultimate cooldown instead. Ultimate cooldown. A simple reduction in the base cooldown of a class's ultimate ability by up to 50%. Rather than having to wait 10 minutes for artillery strike to come back, this reduces that down to 5 minutes instead, with the demolitions always getting the most out of this perk. Sticking with utility perks, there are a bunch dedicated to ammunition, with the first being ammo capacity. All weapons have their maximum ammo reserves increased by up to 100%, including grenades. The Lancer GL will also have additional rockets available for its alternate fire, but remember, an engineer can build a level 4 weapon locker, or 2 level 3 weapon lockers for less energy. Ammo regeneration. Certain classes will regenerate ammo passively at varying rates. Weapons with higher ammo reserves, such as rifles, will generally restore ammo faster than precision rifles and explosive weapons. Grenades won't be generated with this perk. Chain gun ammo regeneration. Both the Mulcher and Tri-Shot will passively generate ammo when held by the gunner. Due to the fast fire rate of these weapons, the regeneration will still struggle to keep up, but does mean you don't have to take as many trips to your weapon locker. Grenade resupply. A slugger has the ability to regenerate grenades as quickly as once every 15 seconds. This perk is limited to one class, but does allow you to generate any grenade you currently have in your kit, as long as you have at least one grenade left. Resupply explosive ammo. The Tactician's ultimate ability will be granted the ability to restore explosive ammo for all weapons, for all players, stood within its radius. As the perk levels up, the resupply speed is increased. Moving on to the next set of utility perks, which are dedicated to fortifications and are typically attached to engineer classes. The first perk is fortification damage. Damage dealt by fortifications will be increased by up to 50%. This will affect the damage dealt by barriers and both types of sentries. Both the Architect and Mechanic have skill cards that also improve fortification damage, and this stacks additively with this perk, also affecting the Mechanic's ultimate ability, Turret. Fortification health. Any fortifications built by the engineer with this perk will be increased by up to 100%, making all fortifications much stronger, while also increasing the time to fully repair these fortifications. Repair cost. The amount of energy needed to repair any fortification is reduced by up to 30%. Architects and Mechanics also have skill cards to reduce this even further, stacking additively. Repair speed. The amount of health restored by repairing fortifications is increased by up to 50%, reducing the overall time to fully repair any fortification, while also stacking on top of any repair speed skill cards that all engineer classes have. There is one final utility perk to cover, and this is unique, being the only perk that affects players' mobility. Here we have movement speed. Players' movement speed is increased by up to 30%. This perk affects the walking and roadie running speed on the few classes that possess this perk, able to close the distance on enemies or escape even faster. This perk is heavily weighted to the lower ranks, granting 75% of the perk's value when only at level 6. Every single perk has been covered in detail, so make sure you are able to utilise these properly and sometimes in the correct order. If you are playing a mode where you aren't guaranteed many perk points, then be sure to put points into the crucial areas only and deposit the rest into your fabricator. Perks are expensive and your engineer will be thankful. Keeping these videos short, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Other social links are in the description box below. Take it easy guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.